what I wanted to talk to you about, let's get into Lake Erie in a little bit, but I wanted to talk some of the gear. You're working over here in the Okuma booth. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the stuff that we're doing at Okuma, from line counters to high-speed reels to new rods, advancing the ring standing and growing as far as what we have to offer. More rods, more actions, more lengths. The reels, from our low profiles to our high capacity to our high speeds. There's something built for what every angler wants to do. And that's really what we're showcasing here at the show this year, is all those new offerings.
So we've got a lot of people here in the building. Being in Niagara Falls, we've got Lake Erie anglers, we've got Lake Ontario anglers. Somebody coming in and drops into the booth, they want to start setting up their boat for trolling Lake Erie walleyes. Which way are you going to point them? What are you going to talk to them about?
You know what? There's probably the most universal package right now from Okuma is what will be called a 30 series reel. And we would couple that with a 8'6" medium action rod. And the unique thing about this particular rod I'm mentioning is our Deadeye series, but it's telescoping. So if you're in a big boat, you can still use that and leave it up in your rod racks. If you're in a smaller boat, you're getting the benefit of that 8-foot length that you really want, but you can also now break it down and store it easily on a smaller boat. But that 8'6" medium action with a 30 series reel line, always go with a line counter. There really isn't a reason to not use a line counter. It probably would be the base bone. You could do a lot with it. You can put it on your lead core program. You could essentially flatline troll with it. Bottom bound troll with it, use it on your downrigger. You can kind of do everything with that rod package. So for someone just starting out, you can get into a nice price point reel for like $100 to do that and get started.
Yeah, so this show is, we're, I don't know, less than 1,000 yards away from Niagara Falls. We got Lake Ontario right around the corner. I'm setting up a boat. I want to go chase kings on Lake Ontario. Which way are you going to point me there?
Again, that 8'6" rod with that 30 series reel will do both your walleye stuff and your trout and salmon stuff. Certain parts of the salmon game are going to get a little more heavier duty, when you're talking dip sea divers and some of the deeper stuff. But, again, you can start off with an 8'6" and that 30 series reel. Most guys on many of our stuff is going to be braid, so you get that capacity and strength that you can use both for the walleyes and for the salmon. So it's a nice universal rod, fits both fisheries.
Something that's near and dear to your heart, something that you put together every year. I know you've got a big team that helps you as well, but whenever I run into you, you just want to talk about the Sunset Bay Shootout.
Oh, and yes.
That thing is just growing every year. You're doing a lot of great stuff with it. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's, the Sunset Bay Walleye Shootout. We hold it the third Saturday of every July. This year is our 13th year. We've been very fortunate. It grows by leaps and bounds, and a lot of it's got to do with the timing of our fishery. Big fish are very accessible from Sunset Bay. You don't have to necessarily go too far, and you can be competitive. But we also couple with a unique venue. We do it right on the beach of Sunset Bay. We bring in a nice 40-foot tractor trail hydraulic trailer. It opens up to be a live stage. We do a lot of unique things interactive with the teams, such as a hot seat format. So the current leading team sits up on stage until the next team bumps them. Essentially, the last team standing wins. But with that being said, it's kind of unique in the sense that we have a crowd of almost 3,000 people there to watch it. So it's quite the venue. Again, it's right on the beach. We've got Cabana Sam's there. We have the beach club there. So there's plenty of great food. There's plenty of great happy hours. The venue as a whole really makes it special, as well as the fishery itself. One unique thing, being our 13th year, and with a lot of the friends nationwide help of you, with your reach, we now have anglers coming from 26 states. So we have half the country coming in, and in the inclusion of our Canadian friends as well. So it's very well represented from all types of angler styles. We just don't see that conventional one style of boat. We see all kinds of boats coming in, and most importantly, it's the camaraderie of the guys. When you see them mingling at the captain's meeting, I know two guys that are talking that are completely two different boats, and they're both sharing their knowledge of how they do it, and that makes it a lot of fun. So. With the growth of it, we're going to be expanding to 200 boats for this year. So there is room. If there's somebody out there that wants to fish it, they can simply jump on our website to check it out. It's simply walleyeshootout.com. And then if they have any questions, we can give them more information. We have tournament packages, things like that. But it's open. You don't have to be pre-ranked or pre-qualified. If we have a spot and you want to come down, we'd love to have you. And we see kind of the feather of the cap is we don't have a lot of guys not returning. So that tells us, hey, they're enjoying it. They're coming out. If you look at the support that really helped us get it to where it is, Trevor Fishhawk, Okuma, and we remember exactly how we started this thing and where we've grown from. We'll never forgot it. So you guys are as equally important to it as us and the guys running it. We thank you guys for that.
What was the winning program last year, Don? What took the trophy last year?
Last year, Ronnie Morcio, Real Hard Sport Fishing, he won it through a lead core and open water trolling program. There was a good pocket of fish last year right out at the Canadian border. It was in American waters, but right on the border. If anyone's out there that's savvy on the GPS, the middle numbers, very easy to remember, 40, 20 were our waypoints out there. Those fish are there every year. Very, very, within a mile or two anyway. They just move up and down that border. We've got a great current there. There's a lot of bait there. Our bait in the Eastern Basin is back. Those fish are relating to it, and they're on that border every year. So Ronnie was out there. He was trolling some stick bait. It was a stick bait bite, specifically a yellow lure was working well for him. And 5-color, 6-color lead core program targeting those suspended fish 35, 40 feet down in that area, over about 75 to 80 feet of water. So everything related to that, your sonar, your electronics, your GPS, your fish hawks, all helped them. And it was very exciting. We kind of heard he had a big box, and what we do at the show is we held him to the very end just to try to ramp up. And sure enough, he came on stage, and last box, the fish went up, and man, the crowd went crazy. It was exciting.
Cool.
And they were high-fiving and man-hugging and crying, and the emotion was there, and they did very well. They had a great weekend. A lot of fun.
Well, we've got a question for Captain Don Ruppert, either on Okuma or on the Sunset Bay Shootout. Go ahead and drop in the comments. We'll get it to him. I got to ask you this, Captain Don. There has been a lot of publicity about fishing tournaments recently. A couple guys got caught with the cheat.
Sure.
How do you guys handle that? How is that something that you're making sure doesn't happen at your tournament?
Yeah, it's boy, what a sad situation that was.
Yeah.
And my personal emotions after building Sunset for 12 years was like, your initial thing is, oh my God, all tournaments are going to be ruined. But, talking to the guys from Ohio and Michigan and Minnesota and beyond, what it did is it really it brought us closer together, right? Like we're kind of self-monitoring, we're talking amongst each other, sharing ideas amongst tournaments. But to essentially answer your question, we've always instituted, if you're winning something out of Sunset Bay, we do have polygraphs. So you're going to go through a polygraph part of our program. With what had happened in Ohio, we actually added additional safety factors to where we'll pay the top 20 boxes, essentially. If you're in the payout, your cooler is staying with us, and we're going through every fish. We have the volunteers already established, so we're going to actually add another level of security to at least touch the fish, feel the fish. You can wand the fish, but it's not picking up steel. It won't pick up lead. It'll pick up steel. So there's other things that you have to be aware of. So whether we kind of call it massaging the fish, at least you can feel the bellies. We can probe the bellies. We can wand the bellies. So we're going to add all that to what we already had as a safety feature. So myself, my staff, we're very confident that what happened, unfortunately, down there will not happen in Sunset Bay. So it's an effort, but we're very fortunate. If anybody out there is from Sunset Bay listening, and, we're very fortunate to have 40 volunteers helping us do multiple phases of what we're doing down there. And without them, holy cow, you just can't have an event of that size without that help. And these guys are ready and willing to dive in and do that level of security on these fish for us. So,
yeah, that's a big deal. It sounds like you guys are really putting a lot of work in to make sure that the people who win this thing should win the thing. Yeah,
and that's we in my career we've been fortunate. We've lost tournaments, we've won a few, we've been in the middle, and we remember the days we lost, we remember the days we win, and when you win, it's got to mean something for your team and the respect and your reputation. So I really don't see any type of an issue coming up. I think it's too fresh where I don't think anyone's really going to have the testicular fortitude to say to try to do something like that again.
Well, I think, at least from my perspective, it's like, you've got a couple bad apples out there where, I think it's probably safe to say that every other single person in a lot of events, 99% anyways, are, their heart's in the right place, and there's a lot of integrity there. So, the thing that I, just watching that whole situation, it's like, you'd hate for, tournament fishing, walleye tournament fishing, you'd hate for it to be known for that, for some guys that did something they shouldn't have done. And I'll leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah.
But
and you're exactly right. You get every bushel of apples might have a bad one in there. And, with their removal, I think you're just tightening up the game a little bit, and I'm proud of all our anglers. All they're good guys. We get to know these guys. They're our friends. They're our colleagues, they're our competitors. But when you win, you got to do it right, and it's only going to mean something when you do it the right way.
So there's a lot of awesome anglers out there, and these are people that most people probably never heard of. They just have their boat, they go out there, they kick butt, and they're thinking about getting into the tournament again.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advice do you give someone who's maybe just a really, really good recreational angler that wants to get into tournament angling?
I think the first thing I would say is when you get into a tournament or a derby, whatever the format might be, first and foremost, remember having fun. If there's one thing I see a lot of guys ultimately lose the fun of what we're doing out there. You're out there fishing, you're with your buddies, your brothers, your friends, your family, and you're out there because you're enjoying it. When you're going after a tournament, absolutely, you got to focus. It is a different level. You do pay attention a little bit more, but you drop a fish, you can't get mad. You got to learn to let that go, but just remember to have fun. And then essentially a lot of guys will, first couple of years, maybe not know the fishery they're going to fish a tournament or not know what the other boats are. Go up and talk to the other anglers. You'd be amazed how open they are. The guys will talk, the veteran guys that have been doing it for 20 years. They're like, oh God, I can never approach that guy, or you can't go talk to that guy. It's going to take us forever to learn what he knows. If you go up there and say hello, he's going to turn right around and say, guys, I'll show you the lures. I'll tell you what we're doing. And that's the enjoyable part of it. So from a guy just getting into it, don't lose the fun of it. Don't be afraid to ask other teams for advice on how to get going in the right direction, and just enjoy it and grow.
Probably the scariest thing I think for people that are like that are getting into the tournament thing is the clock, the time. How do you manage the clock? How do you kind of make sure that you're using every second, but also make sure that you get back on time?
You know what? That's a very good point. Ironically, we look at it after being in it for so many years. The fishing is the easy part. It's making sure the boat's ready to go, making sure your leaders are tied, your lures are right, your hooks are changed. You know where you're going. You know what you're going to do to get there. Your oil's changed, your motor's running, the trailer's working. That's where I see most guys kind of fumble out of anything. Executing the fishing side, that should be well advanced and well done beforehand. And, kind of another, maybe the next step of that is pre-fishing. Pre-fishing is amazing. We constantly say tournaments are won on a Wednesday and a Thursday. If you're going to get into the Sunset Bay Shootout, you're going to commit to the amount to get into it, the costs and things of that nature. It's worth taking that day or two and go out and practice. And I know a lot of people, even in my own family, will say, how do you go practice fishing? They they don't understand the concept of practice, but fundamentally, you have your program built, ready to go for that weekend, a day or two in advance. And that's a big part of it too. If you're going out of the harbor and heading out fishing for the tournament and going, well, you want to go to Sturgeon Point or you want to go to Dunkirk? Oh, the game's already over, really. You might any given Sunday, as they say, but do your legwork, do a little pre-fish. It will go a lot. It'll go a lot further for the tournament for sure.
Trevor?
I think he's spot on. Was it preparation makes the day, right? So.
For sure. I'm searching for my water. I'm not sure where I put it.
Yeah, I'll get you
I'm going to tickle in the throat here really bad. But tell us about some of the prizes. Thank you. One of the things that you're really proud of is all the people you guys are working with, and it's an incredible prize pool. You were telling me something like, you guys do a Friday meeting, and you kind of do like a raffle type of drawing for that. And you guys got some awesome prizes in it. You've got so many prizes that you've got a really high likelihood of walking out the door just before you even get in the water.
Yeah. That's that actually, it's a great thing to share with the guys because it's really a kind of a 4-day event. In the Sunset Thursday is our captain's meeting, and every team is required to report there. We do a reading of the rules. We do a couple fundraisers for the Sunset Bay Fire Company. We're very big on giving back. We have 3 other charities that we donate back. So we do a lot there on that Thursday, and that's just getting everybody ready to go for Friday. Friday is what we call Big Fish Friday. Again, we go back to practice. So all the guys are going to be out there. So there's some side money for Friday. And what we do there is we simply weigh 1 fish per team. And it's a simple who's got the biggest fish wins. And we pay top 10 spots for that. And there's some significant money there. That equates to probably about $80,000. But when we're done with that on Friday, we have over 80 sponsors now. And with their product donation or different ways they contribute to the tournament, we give away 50 prize packs on Friday night. Well, this year we're very fortunate. The last 10 prizes of those 50 are brand new boat motors, all
Sweet.
donated from our sponsors. Yamaha, Mercury, Honda, all the majors are with us now. And that's worth getting in the tournament just to be part of the Friday night giveaway. Coming back to our captain's meeting, once again, our sponsors, each team, when they sign in, they get a welcome bag. And the gear that we put in there is stuff the guys can fish that weekend. It's the right line, it's the right leader material, it's the right terminal tackle, the lure donation, stuff that the guys can actually fish. That's worth a few $100. So they're getting half their entry back just in walking in the door. They get a chance at almost 100,000 on the Friday night giveaway, even before we fish the main event yet. So there's a lot of value there, and it's a lot of fun because the guys appreciate it. They know that, hey, if I don't win anything, I just won a brand new outboard motor. Holy cow. Starts the day off pretty good. And then Saturday is the main event. And most of the prizes and stuff are given away, obviously, as we spoke. And then it comes down to where we pay the top 20. And overall, we have between the prizes and the total payout, the Calcutta options, essentially we're close to about $500,000 total being given away. So it's really become a fun event. And the unique thing that we've grown into, and this kind of stems back to where we started in the first conversation of, what happened in Ohio and how other tournaments are talking to each other, where we've got to borrow a great idea from a tournament where Sunday morning now, because we do the polygraph and we have the security protocols in place, that we need a little more time before we can get all that finalized and say, okay, well, what we've done now is we added on Sunday what's called the Breakfast of Champions. So everybody's through their polygraphs. All the security protocols are done. Final roster, official results. All right, we all meet. All the guys that are winning or won that are getting paid. They meet at Cabana Sam's, and they put on a breakfast for all the winners. We call it the Breakfast Champions. Gives us a chance to give away their prizes and payouts, and then that's the high five, and that's the finale of the weekend. So, kind of it's grown every year, and it's just we're just very proud of it, and just proud of the people that are a part of it with us.
I always thought the Breakfast of Champions was Wheaties.
Okay, I've got a pre-fishing question.
Sure.
Okay, I know Lake Erie is unlike any other walleye fishery in the world. Okay, you're on them in pre-fishing, right? Do you stay on and pound those fish, or do you leave those fish and come back Saturday?
We get off them. We get in there. Okay. We get off them. We get off them. We absolutely get off them.
Okay.
We do indeed. And some boats are recognized, and there's a lot of good guys, and the boats might know, hey, that's the Fish Hawk boat, or that's the Remington boat. And if they show up on Friday with a 10-pounder or something big, like, oh, we seen where he fished all weekend. Kind of self-evident given away. So a lot of guys will get in there, set up a program, and say, all right, let's get out of here and go look for other water.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's how I would do it. But
yeah.
I mean, Lake Erie is different. I mean, there's a lot of fish out there.
One of the tools I see people use for pre-fishing, probably more than just about any other tool, is a pair of binoculars. It's a vital tool for the pre-fish.
Yes, indeed. It's you want to be on the best game, and I know it. You're constantly watching for other nets, especially during pre-fish.
Yeah.
We might be 100, 300 yards away from another boat, but you can see that net move, right? You see that net go down. So, of course, you're doing,
Well, Captain Don, thanks for coming on. I love having you on. If people want to know more about the Sunset Bay Shootout, is there openings, first of all?
Yes, sir. There is. We are expanding. We are going to put 50 boats in. The way we do it is
200 total, right? You're adding 50.
Yes, we're going to sell. The fleet's going to be capped at 200 this year. And what we do, out of respect for the anglers that have fished in previous years, they have their spot up until May 1st. The 50 boats that we're adding are on a first-come, first-served basis. And we still have some of those 50 spots available. So if there's a team out there or an angler out there that's interested in fishing it this year, they can jump on Walleye Shootout. Or if they have a pen handy, I can put my number out there and they can text or call direct. We actually have a full formal tournament package that we can mail out, which is all the information. So everything they need will come right to them from us. And we'd love to have them. We always welcome new anglers.
Very cool. It's walleyeshootout.com. Get more information there. Captain Don, appreciate it.
Chris, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Trevor, thank you for all your support over the years.
Yeah,
appreciate you having me.
It's a fun event.